Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Spinistry Chat. I am your host for Adventures, Kevin Lee, and today we're just going to do a quickie overview of our planned first overlanding trip that we'll be doing first week in November. Just after the elections, we'll start rolling between Dallas and Terlingua, Big Bend National Park area. And just going to give an overview of what we generally have in mind at the moment. This will be free for Club Spinistry members, but this will be a motorized overlanding trip. This will not be a bicycle trip, but what we are trying to accomplish as part of this overlanding trip is scouting a potential bicycle route or bicycle routes as well. We will be those that are doing the front end of this route will be utilizing our Dallas to Austin bike packing route. But we do recognize that everyone's not going to have all of that time and mileage available to them. So what I'm going to do with this video is talk about the general plan for that extended weekend, and then people that are interested in tagging along, they can see where it fits into their schedules and see where they would like to slot things in. And if you're not available on this specific trip, that's okay. This is a scouting trip. So the reality is we're going to find things that don't work or find new things that catch our eye that might need to be added to the route. And we'll make this available for all Club Spinistry members as we get it nailed down and finalized in all the iterations. We do want to have routes that are definitely bicycle oriented, but we are looking to do some motorized oriented routes and trips as well. And that will apply to four-wheel drive vehicles, all-wheel drive vehicles, and dual sport motorcycles as well. It is Texas that we're concentrating in with this trip, so not a lot of public lands that are available. So there was not a lot of true four-wheeling involved. This particular route should be primarily capable by realistically just about any vehicle that's willing to do 1,000 miles or more of dirt roads. All-wheel drive and four-wheel drive could come in handy in spots. And there are also a couple of spots that go near four-wheel drive specific areas, private parks and things like that, if somebody does want to get their wheeling on. And we'll touch on that a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and just work it from Dallas to Terlingua. Again, this is the broad scope plan. Let folks get an idea if it looks like it might work out for them. We're probably going to be opening up sign up this weekend, and we'll probably only open it up for limited spots, but we'll look at, and that's really just for camping. But we'll talk about some of the different options there. So we're going to zoom in on the map a little bit. And what I've kind of done is chunked it out in roughly 300-mile chunks for a day's travel. Again, these are mostly maintained dirt roads. So it's not like creeping along at 2 or 3 or 4 miles an hour going over big mountain passes or anything like that. Realistically, the average speed will probably be somewhere between 30 and 40 miles an hour for the day, depending on how long you stop along the way. There may be an obstacle here or there, maybe a creek crossing or something like that, or a washed out road. We don't know what we're going to come across. I do know that there's at least one river crossing worked in, but it seems to be a river crossing that people do regularly. The route currently is mapped out at 1,224 miles with approximately 45,000 feet of elevation gain, 43,000 feet of elevation decline. Not really an issue per se for motorized transport. This is a bicycle route from Dallas to Austin specifically. So it is starting at the Amtrak train station. I really don't expect anyone to start from downtown Dallas, but if you want to, you are more than welcome to. What I will most likely be doing is probably Starting at Venus, Texas, myself on Thursday morning. And that'll be, I want to say November 6th, whatever that first full week of November the Thursday is. So I guess that would probably be the first Thursday in November. Not looking at a calendar at the moment. Y'all look at the calendar. It's after the elections. I'm thinking that after the election might be a good time just to get out in the middle of nowhere and not have a whole lot of access to what's going on in the world. So I will most likely start from Venus and pick up the route there on Thursday. I realize not everybody's going to have Thursday to themselves, but I'll show you how I have it chunked out for myself and other people's schedules. You can join us when it fits into your time off or your weekend or however else. So Thursday will be Dallas to current plan is Mother Neff State Park, and that will be my Thursday overnight. The full route is right at 300 miles to there, but like I said, I'll be starting at Venus, probably taking like 40 or 50 miles off the route. All of this, let me correct that. 98% of this route has been verified personally by me previously. This is a bicycle route. I do have a slight change that I've included between McGregor and Mother Neff State Park, that this will be my first time on this little leg here. I don't expect that to be particularly problematic. And even if we do run into a dead end or a gone road or something like that, easy enough to get around and get back on the old route. So that'll be Thursday night stopover, Mother Neff State Park, a little southwest of Waco, a little northwest of Temple, and not too far outside of Austin. And that is part of our Austin to Dallas route for bicycle touring, bike packing. It's an Austin Dallas adventure route, primarily dirt roads and gravel roads, some really pretty scenery along the way. Nothing that will require a four-wheel drive vehicle by any stretch of the imagination. Then Friday morning, I'll depart Mother Neff State Park. And again, we are following the Austin-Dallas bicycle route. And then once we get past Manor, I have been told I was mispronouncing it previously when I called it Manor. My understanding it is properly pronounced Manor. Between Manor and our planned overnight Friday night out here at Oxford Ranch Campground, south of Llano. This is our Friday scouting. There's going to be a lot of urban stuff in here, but we are trying to make it as rural as possible. Between Manor, which goes through Austin proper, through Lago Vista, into the Balcones Canyonlands. It does go by Hidden Falls Adventure Park as well. So if somebody wants to, I'm not sure if I think Hidden Falls is open on Fridays, but I'm not positive of that. But if somebody wants to get their wheeling on and join us for at least part of the trip, you can definitely visit Hidden Falls and get some wheeling into the mix as well. Goes up here past Burnett, above Reveille Peak Ranch, and winds past Inks Lake State Park, Longhorn Cabin State Park, Kingsland, and catches some of our old Llano routes that there's some really neat stuff in here. Unfortunately, a lot of it's been paved. These were some fantastic dirt roads. They're still very cool paved roads. But realistically, the vast majority from Austin to Oxford Ranch camping, that will be paved. Realistic, and that's Oxford Ranch will be our overnight spot for Friday night. We realize folks do have, some folks will have work obligations and won't be able to join us till Friday night. So we kind of have it set up where the real adventuring starts Saturday morning. So if you're able to join us Friday night at Oxford Ranch Campground, it's a great camping facility just south of Llano. Really cool spot, really pretty area. But if you're not able to even join us for Friday night, you can meet us at Oxford Ranch Saturday morning. We'll depart from Oxford Ranch, follow the dirt roads, mostly dirt roads. My understanding is some of these that were dirt roads have now been paved, into Castell. And after Castell, all of this becomes brand new to me personally after Castell. So once we go southwest of Castell, this will all be true blue scouting. I'm not expecting anything that truly requires four-wheel drive at this part of the route, but we don't know what we'll be coming across. There is a store in Castell, and that's about, 630 is our mileage. So that's only about 25 miles after the campground. At about mile 690, we do have a little bit of a detour in the route itself. It does go to Eckert James River Bat Cave Preserve. Our timing won't be right to catch bats on this particular trip, but it's an out and back I do want to check out the preserve for future reference and see if maybe that fits into a different timings for trips or something like that. And nobody is obligated to stick together in one big caravan for this by any stretch of the imagination. If you just want to join us for pieces and parts and do your own thing in your own schedule, please feel welcome to. But if we want to have a caravan nose to tail following each other through these roads, or you feel better closer to other people, we can do it that way as well. We do definitely welcome folks doing their own thing and finding their own stops that entertain them, or that if you want to completely do your own schedule, that's perfectly fine as well. What we're given is kind of a general guideline for this trip, somewhat of a group scouting project. But if pieces and parts don't meet what you're looking to do, you're not obligated to tag along for the whole trip. After that area, our next civilized area is Junction, Texas. There's a convenience store right along the route and a Cooper's barbecue. Some other things right there at the interstate. If you need to go into Junction proper, you can. There is the South Llano River State Park just south of Junction. My understanding, though, is it is closed except for hunting that weekend. Originally, I was going to try to fit that in as an overnight spot, but I believe the state park is closed except for hunting on that weekend. Leave Junction through Fort McCavert into El Dorado. There's another convenience store there, resupply. A potential camping spot, X-Bar Ranch Nature Retreat. That's private property with private campgrounds. The one we're probably going to shoot for, though, is Caverns of Sonora. It's a little bit more mileage. It's not quite 300 miles for that day, probably about 260, depending on how things go. But if we make it to Caverns of Sonora, they do have camping available there. I think it was $15 for tents, car camping, $20 for RVs using hookups or something like that. And they had plenty of camping there. For this trip, this is probably where I'm going to overnight, get the little bit extra mileage and just check out that camping. But I have heard good things about X-Bar Ranch as well. So if folks would rather stop there, they are welcome. Originally, I was hoping to stop in Ozona, which is a little bit longer than a 300-mile day. That day, it looked like there was camping here at this park near the fairgrounds, but when I called the Chamber of Commerce today, evidently that is not a camping facility. But Ozona itself does have plenty of hotels. So Saturday night, if you're not wanting to camp. If you feel you're better suited for a hotel, just scoot on down the road to Ozona. There'll be hotels there, traditional RV parks, lots of amenities as well in Ozona. But planned overnight will be at Caverns of Sonora, and then we'll leave Sunday morning and head from there towards Big Bend, Terlingua. If you want to hang out and stay at Caverns of Sonora and check out the caverns, you're welcome to do that as well. Personally, I'll be hitting the road and heading further down. And this is our river crossing here at the Pecos River, Pandale Crossing. There's also a river resort here I want to check out for future camping. Do a satellite. Maybe this is, and I apologize, maybe that's not the river crossing I was thinking of. Maybe that one looks like it has a bridge proper. There's another river crossing somewhere in the mix that looks a little more rustic. And I apologize. Can't remember where that is. I thought that was the one. Maybe the other images I looked at weren't showing that bridge, or maybe the bridge was underwater at that time. That looks like that's always got water. There is a more rustic river or creek crossing somewhere along the route. If you sign up for it, we'll go over those details and get those to you closer to event weekend. And after that river crossing, we go through the town of Sanderson. There's some neat stuff in Sanderson, also hotels in there as well. And for future reference, there's also an Amtrak station in Sanderson for those that might be doing the bicycling option. Something to keep in mind. And that's at about a mile 1,050. So that's about 200 miles from the overnight spot from Saturday night. This is our Sunday travels. Go through Marathon, and then we catch a big paved stretch down towards Big Bend National Park. And right now, the Sunday night overnight facilities, I'm kind of leaving wide open as just a general thing. If folks want to go on into the park and find some dispersed camping in Big Bend, completely understandable. There is the Terlingua Ranch. If you go this way off towards Terlingua, highly likely I'll probably overnight there Sunday night myself. Previously, somewhere in the mix in my research, I saw this spot here that looked like it might be camping. But since then, and I don't know if it was a hip camp search or something else, since then I haven't been able to find any more details on this. So this little, I'll probably scout this to see if there's something there, but I expect this nub to come off the route. Check out the Terlingua Ranch Lodge camping myself. Sunday night is what I'm shooting for. And then roll into Terlingua Monday morning. Just check that out. And then Monday, go back into Big Bend National Park myself, and probably spend Monday and Tuesday in Big Bend and get familiar with the national park. This isn't my big trip to Big Bend. This is just more of, again, scouting a route for others to Big Bend and Terlingua for future reference, and also to make myself familiar with Big Bend National Park. I've never been there yet myself. Get a quick look-see at it this time around and make a longer trip plan for somewhere down the road. So this is the the very general overview for scouting this potential route. Again, Thursday night, Mother Neff State Park, just outside of Waco. Friday night will be the Oxford Ranch Campground, just south of Llano. Saturday night, Sonora Caverns camping area, Caverns of Sonora camping area. And then Sunday night, generic Big Bend, Terlingua find what suits your groove at that point. My guess is a lot of folks on Sunday will just go right into the national park and do some dispersed camping and some wheeling in the national park, and maybe spend Sunday afternoon and Monday in the national park and head back to their point of origin when it fits into their schedule after that. Please feel free to post questions and comments. Do like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. One more time, this will be free for Club Spinistry members, which will include ride with GPS navigation. I think for this trip as well, we're going to be able to arrange free Gaia navigation app access for this particular trip, something I hope to nail down early next week. And we will open sign up prior to Monday. Thanks again for joining us this edition of Spinistry Chat, and we'll be adding more content for your pleasure very soon.